Hello everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you. My name is Jacob and my channel is The 8th Potter if you wanted to know. For my video, I wanted to talk about some of the unanswered questions in the Harry Potter books. Despite the insane amount of detail that J.K. Rowling put into the books, there were kind of bound to be some things that were just never explained fully and were just kind of left untouched. You can't really blame her for missing a few things. Some of the things I think were actually intentional, but the reality is you can't answer every question in a book, especially in a 7-book series with just a lot going on and a lot of world building and all that stuff. So I'm not going to talk about any of the plot holes necessarily because I don't think that's really productive. So this is going to be some of the things that if you were reading the books you might have had a question about, or something that was brought up in one of the books but never addressed in the later ones. Some of these questions have actually been answered by J.K. Rowling through Pottermore or Twitter or something like that, so when there is an answer or something along those lines, I will go ahead and say that. Some unanswered questions, so let's get started. So what does a Ravenclaw student do to get into their dormitory? In the Deathly Hallows, we found out that you have to answer a riddle to get into the Ravenclaw room, which is very fitting, obviously, for Ravenclaw, but then what happens if you can't solve the riddle? You just have to wait outside until someone comes to get you? Speaking of common rooms, what is the Hufflepuff common room like? We were never able to see it in the books. It's the only one that we never got to see. And J.K. Rowling actually answered this question, so I want to read you what she said. She said that it is a cozy and welcoming place, the opposite of the Slytherin common room. There's yellow hangings and fat armchairs and little underground tunnels leading to the dormitories, all of which have perfectly round doors like barrel tops. And that seems very fitting for Hufflepuff, which is actually my house. Go Hufflepuff. Who killed Tonks and Lupin in the Deathly Hallows? It was never answered in the books, and J.K. Rowling has said since the book came out that Lupin was killed by Dolohov and Tonks was killed by Bellatrix, which is really sad, so let's not talk about it. How did Tom Riddle curse the Defense Against the Dark Arts position? This actually occurred to me when I was reading the books for the very first time years and years and years ago. I was really confused by this. I guess it's just one of those things you have to suspend your disbelief about. How did Regulus Black find out about Voldemort's Horcruxes? This is another one that J.K. Rowling has answered. She said that Voldemort was very, very confident and would boast about the fact that he could never die. And Regulus Black was the only person who was smart enough to figure out what he was actually meaning when he said that he could never die. Everything with the Department of Mysteries and the Order of the Phoenix is extremely confusing. It was never really explained. Obviously, it was a mystery. That's why it was called the Department of Mysteries, but there were so many parts in those chapters of that 5th book where you just kind of want to know what it means, and I was hoping that it would have been brought up in the last book, which it really wasn't. I have a feeling that J.K. Rowling knows, but she's just not going to tell us. How does the owl magic work? Like, seriously, I've always wondered this. Owls are really smart creatures, but then how do they know where people are? Like, how can you just give them a letter and then hope that the owl will just find the person out in the world somewhere? I don't know. I really don't. What is Dumbledore's boggart, and what does he see in the Mirror of Erised in the very first book? Apparently his boggart is the dead body of his sister, Ariana, and what he saw in the Mirror of Erised was that his family was alive and happy and together, which is really sad. How did Dumbledore meet Fawkes? This has not been answered, but I have a feeling that we're going to find that out in one of the Fantastic Beasts movies, so I'm really excited for that. By the way, who's excited for the next Fantastic Beasts movie? Me. When the Dementors attacked Harry and Dudley in the beginning of Order of the Phoenix, what was Dudley's worst memory that shocked him? Joe has said that when he saw the Dementors, they made him see himself for the very first time for what he was. How did Sirius's two-way mirror end up with Aberforth in the 7th book? This is one of those things that were never explicitly answered, but if you can kind of put together the dots, we can figure it out. In the 6th book, when Mundungus was in Hogsmeade and Harry attacked him because he stole things from Sirius's house, he was actually leaving because he had just sold the mirror to Aberforth. So Mundungus took the mirror and gave it to Aberforth, and that is how we got it. When Harry died at the end of Deathly Hallows, why did he go to King's Cross Station? This is a more metaphorical reason that J.K. Rowling has explained, and it's because to Harry, King's Cross Station is the gateway between the Wizarding world and the Muggle world. And so when he died and he's in that in-between state that transitions from one to the other, he manifested King's Cross Station because it's what it meant to him. It's just what he saw based on his own experiences. And finally, who came up with Hogwarts' name and how? It turns out that it was Rowena Ravenclaw who had a vision that a warty pig led her to the end of like a cliff by the lake, and then she went went and found it, and that is where Hogwarts is. So she named it after this dream or vision that she had. And that is all of the unanswered questions that I can come up with. Let me know if I got anything wrong down in the comments below. I would love to learn more. Once again, my name is Jacob McCabe, and you can find me at The 8th Potter on YouTube, or Jacob W. McCabe at Twitter and Instagram and pretty much anywhere else. Thanks to Maureen for letting me do this video, and Merry Christmas to all of you, and Happy Holidays. Bye.